So
Perfect.
yes, my name's Trudi Dawson. So outside of Doula UK, I have been a doula for 18, 19 years now. I'm also an infant feeding specialist, an antenatal teacher, and a holistic sleep coach. Since I started my journey as a doula, I have been a member of Doula UK, and somehow I find myself now one of the directors. I've got a feeling everyone else took a giant step back, to be honest with you. It's a volunteer post, so I do it for love, as do most of the people in this photograph here. We've got there's 4 directors, and just here we've got one of our we have 2 paid for members of staff. That one of them that is there on the right, and our company secretary. This was the last time we were all together, but. We are a too small team, although having said that, we do have roughly about 16 volunteers who run Doula UK. So I'm here today with my Doula UK hat on to try and share some information about what a Doula UK doula is. Sallyann has beautifully outlined what a doula does, what a doula can do, and how they support families. And so this is my bits about Doula UK specifically. So we have a vision, which I've got to be honest, I don't have this tattooed anywhere on my body, nor do I, if you ask me to recall anything these days, it's sketchy. But so I was looking at this today and I was like, yeah, wow, that sounds a bit corporatey. But actually, it's really important. When I was took my Letter Corporation speak hat off. So I just want to pull out a few things from this, which I think is really, really relevant to Doula UK and doulas. But we all know, first of all, that birth and the postnatal period is life-changing. So I love that that's in there. It really is, how you birth and how you mother can change your life for good or bad. It's pivotal. Doula UK is about skilled doulas. So essentially, anyone in this country can say they're a doula. It's unregulated. I don't know why anyone would launch themselves into being a doula without some kind of support and backup, because it's not a get rich quick scheme. That's for sure. It's often hugely inconvenient, detrimental to family life, and risky because we're usually self-employed. So first of all, to be a doula, you've got to really want to be a doula. Like no one's getting into this for lols. So Doula UK is about skilled doulas, really making sure, and I'll come on to that later, that all of our doulas have a set of skills, really good skills. We talk about in our vision the childbearing year, and I think that's really important because doulas are not just people who show up at the birth. We don't just waltz in at the exciting bit. As Sallyann said, we're often with families. Well, Sallyann, you got booked at 8 weeks, and I love that story. How glorious to find out that sort of straightforward fourth birth was twins. And then quite often postnatal doulaing is a little bit underrepresented. So I think it's great that it's the childbearing year. We're there for a long time often. And of course, if our clients really love us, and they invariably do, we are back with them for the second and the third babies. So it's often the childbearing years for us, regardless of circumstance. So I'd really love to dispel that there is definitely an urban myth that we're just for sort of wealthy families, and that's just not true. And actually, I would argue that in terms of wealth, also, just because somebody lives in a big house doesn't mean that they have financial freedom. But we work really hard to make sure that we have ways to make it really easy for our doulas to support minority ethnic groups, disadvantaged people. We have an access fund, so a certain proportion of membership funds goes towards what we call our access fund. It's a bit of a struggle to keep it going, I'll be honest, but we offer, via Doula UK, we offer free birth and postnatal support to families that just wouldn't otherwise be able to access that. The other word that I picked out, which Sallyann mentioned, and it's really important for us as doulas to get this out there, that we advocate. So obviously the definition of advocate is putting somebody's case forward for them. That is not making decisions for them or convincing them or talking them into something. Literally, it's being a mouthpiece. And that's just so important for anyone who's thinking about being a doula, hiring a doula, or comes across a doula in their daily lives. We're advocates. That's really, really important. Oh my gosh, just some stats. We're roughly about 700 members. We're Doula UK. We've divided. We're obviously throughout the whole of UK, but we divide ourselves into areas so that we can support in smaller communities. So there's some really good face-to-face between doulas. Mentioned the Access Fund. I want to talk a little bit about our course providers. So essentially, I mentioned that anyone can be a doula in the UK. To be a Doula UK doula, however, you must take one of our approved courses. There is an access route, but I won't bore you with that because it's kind of it's a tiny detail, but you're very welcome to ask me about it. So to become a Doula UK doula, you must do one of our approved courses. These courses are really fantastic. They are the gold standard of doula training because we make sure they are, we evaluate them, we reevaluate them, and we're currently working even harder than ever to work really closely with our course providers, because that's where our doulas come into us, essentially, more often than not. When you become a Doula UK doula and you have done a approved training course, you must then agree to do two things. The first is to be mentored for a period of time. So we have some really experienced doulas who are our mentors. There is 58 of those. The mentoring is, I guess it's like doulaing a doula a little bit. We're not there to convince and decide, but it's a hand-holding, as Sallyann said, it's walking alongside. So that's the mentoring process. That can take a while, and it's pretty stringent. When you have gone through the mentoring process, which I'm a mentor myself, the doulas really, really enjoy that process. They get a lot out of it, as do the mentors. Then you become a recognised doula, and so that's how you get to be a Doula UK doula. You have to work pretty hard. I think it's worth it, but work pretty hard to become a Doula UK doula. And that's just it. That's important for anyone coming in to be a doula with us, or hiring a doula or encountering a doula to know. So in terms of membership benefits for our members, why would you jump through all those hoops when you can just be a doula? So we have a really amazing Find a Doula page that obviously it's I don't understand SEO and tech things, but it's got the most traffic. So it's visited by many, many parents who are looking for a doula. So it's a great place to advertise. We offer a community. I've mentioned the reps. Obviously you are with 699-ish other members that you can call on at any time. We have an annual conference. We've got a doula support network. So I mentioned being a doula is not for lols, although it's in my opinion, it's the best job in the world. It does come with the need for support. I'm sure any group can understand that. I've mentioned the mentoring. Once you've been through the mentoring process, your mentor never really stops being your mentor, and you generally have formed such a great relationship that you can, draw on their experience for many years to come. And personally speaking, my mentor-mentee relationships usually end up being very mutually beneficial as time goes on. Got a podcast. I've just recorded my first podcast for the Doula UK podcast, but go to Sallyan's, either go to our back history or go to go to Sallyann because I'm not sure how whether I found my feet on that one yet. Now, what's really important, I think, for you to know is that Doula UK doulas must abide by our code of conduct and our philosophy, and this is really important to us. It really, I won't read it to you because it's late in the day and I don't want to bore you into submission, but it's really worthwhile going and have a look at the Doula UK code of conduct to see what we're about. I don't know any of the doulas that I know that don't look at that code of conduct and go, yeah, that's all perfectly reasonable and I can do that, and like I knew all that. I think really it's for newer people coming into doulaing, but it's what we do. It's not essentially such a big ask, but it's really, really important to be a Doula UK doula that you abide by that code of conduct and our philosophy. So with regard to the training, it's not just the initial training. We have our conference where we have fantastic speakers. Anyone can come to our conference. Thank you, COVID, it's now online. We have mentoring circles. We've got CPD, so we have a really fantastic list of people offering further training that we have similarly vetted, and we obviously provide a discount to our members. So there's, I think, our training and our ongoing training really is so fantastic, so valuable at keeping our doulas learning and being curious and adding more skills. I mentioned the Access Fund, so this is something that we certainly really believe in. It's been a real struggle sometimes to keep it going, but it's so important because I'm getting boring, but you really don't become a doula to get rich. You usually do it for a real passion for supporting, mothering the mother, and that should be available to everybody. That's how we feel, and so that's why we provide that for those who are unable to afford a doula. So in terms of, Sallyann touched on, why have a doula? What's it so good about it? So we do an annual return each year, which means that we can keep looking at our stats for birth and postnatal. Essentially, the benefit we Doula UK should be and is so far, thank goodness, the #1 resource for doulas wanting to be doulas and wanting to advertise their services, but also for parents looking for a doula. And why they would have a Doula UK doula, they're the same reasons why they would have a doula, full stop, except that we can, happily, because of our annual return, put some numbers to those benefits. I wanted to also just mention a book. It's called the Doula Book, and it's absolutely I've got my copy here sitting in front of me. I've had this copy for it was the first book I bought. If you want to see some really fantastic research, so I love a bit of research. I'll chew on any research data. It's just so compelling, and that is specifically about doulas. But for a Doula UK doula, we've got really good stats. We've got 91% of our clients are breastfeeding. When you look at the number of home births, consultant-led births, and birth units, 2/3 of our births are at home or in the maternity-led unit. Now, that's not anyone saying that to achieve a good or a positive birth, you have to do it at home. I think that demonstrates the choice is supported, because I'm sure Sallyann will agree with me. I don't have an opinion on where someone gives birth. I want them to give birth where they feel really fantastic, but often the choice is limited. So I think that number really speaks for the choice that we are able to help provide support on both sides, on the side of the midwives and the side of the parents. In terms of postnatal, because as I said, my real passion is postnatal these days, and we just do fantastic. We have a fantastic way of supporting families. As Sallyann beautifully pointed out, by the time we get to the birth room, wherever that is, we generally have developed a really intimate, close, albeit professional relationship that carries on. And so, I always think that birth doesn't stop when the baby comes out. Bonding and mothering and breastfeeding or formula feeding, nurturing, and learning all of that about this new person takes, as a mother of a 20-year-old, it takes a lifetime. But those first, few days, few weeks, few months, kind of feels to me like the birth is still happening. And so being a postnatal doula is a complete honour, but it also, again, is matched up by fantastic stats. 76% of our families are breastfeeding at the final meeting. That's just so much way above the national statistic. And again, it's not about suggesting families should breastfeed and that's the only way you can say you did a good job, or it's about the fact that it shows the difference the support makes. I suspect that, well, I know, I'm not suspect, I'm trying to be, delicate, but I know that most mothers end up not breastfeeding, not out of choice, but out of lack of support, lack of time, lack of good information. If they choose to bottle feed their baby, I am totally gravy with that. That's awesome. It's all about choice. And I think that 76% really represents the choice that we are able to support. So essentially, to wrap it up, anyone can be a doula. That's awesome. We don't want the doula police. I don't think anyone particularly thinks that's a great idea, nor should it be necessary. However, to be a Doula UK doula, we really think that I hope this isn't going to be controversial. Oh, probably is. Doula UK doulas are the gold standard. We, our code of conduct makes us really robust at knowing our role, knowing the definition of our role and how to get the best out of that role purely for our families. I'm not saying that somebody not in Doula UK wouldn't be able to do that. But we also have a resolution process. So what that means is that should anybody be dissatisfied in any way with Doula UK doula, we have a whole process where we are able to mediate and navigate and should it be appropriate, offer that doula more learning. So I think that gives everybody, including the doula, some real reassurance that we're always kept honest and learning. I think, oh gosh, I should have, stop sharing. There we go, I've got the right button. So I think that kind of wraps it up for me in terms of Doula UK, but I really hope we get a ton of questions because I'm sure I didn't